Today I'm going to make some flying jesses, Mews jesses and Bewit. I've made my bells. They are not the best I've made, but I just want them to be practical and they work, so I'm not too worried what they look like, but they're not too bad. And now I'm going to make the anklets. So before I do, these are some questions I had in my head when I was first getting my hawk. So if his foot is here like that, then the anklet on a new hawk, which mine was at the time, really wants to be quite wide. So if they do bait or pull, that pressure is equally put over a bigger space on the leg. So you can make your anklet wide, and then when your eyelet is fixed there, you can then taper in. So you end up with a wide support on the actual leg, rather than a narrow support on the leg like that. So it's best to be wide, and if you can, nice soft leather, and you can always back that leather in something soft as well. So on a young bird it's even more protected. But for myself today, I'm just doing the same as what I did last year, slightly wider than the eyelet, and roll the tops over and the bottoms. And also, when you put these on, remember, if you don't know, the ring that goes around the hawk's leg, its own numbered ring, must be above the anklet and not below, where it could be pulled down onto the foot. So always put the anklet underneath the ring. Stainless steel ruler, brand new sharp blade. Be for me Bewit. Now the Bewit width for me is just determined by the smallest hole I can get through it and still have some width on there either side, which will be that. So the whole lot I've put in that centre, or just off the centre, I'll find the widest point. There's no exact science on this one. I just put a little point on the end of there, just to enable me to poke that back through that same hole. I'll take this apart in a minute and re-grease it. So pull that through there now, and I've got two ends. So now I need to secure that to the hawk. So I've got this, which is about the width of the hawk's leg, and this can be a little loose on the hawk because as it gets wet it'll tighten up, so I don't want it too tight. All I'm going to do now, hold that there, remove that side and mark a small hole there. That's for this side to pass through, and then find the smallest punch, get it in the center, pop a hole through there. Now this one wants to go through there, so to do that I'm just going to put a little point on the end of there just to aid things, and then pop that through there. So what eventually this would be the last thing to do as it goes onto the hawk's leg. Once it's got a bit of grease on it, it'll work fine. So there's the hawk's leg. It's pulled tight through there. And now what I'm going to do is pass that back through this side. So it's gone through one and I'm going to lock it off by coming back through. So what I'm going to do now is put another little hole, which I could have done just now, next to the other one, but not too close, so you're not going to get a weak point. And then that one locks off through the back there. And that's it now. So we now need to stop that undoing or pulling through. So the way we do it is by cutting 2 notches in the end of this here, well, not in the end, but in part of it that goes through the hole. So the hole's there and it's just passed through. We're going to make 2 cuts in there like that and like that, and all that's going to do is form a lock as it pulls through, because the strap will get caught either side of this hole and not pull through. It's just like a little barb really. So what I do now is just pull it tight, mark where it's come through the hole there and there, and this is where I'm going to put my little cuts. Right, these 2 notches, literally just want a tiny little cut there, not too deep because you'll end up cutting right through, and that's all it needs, 2 tiny little cuts like that. And then what I'm going to do now is undo it. See, them little notches are already working now, so that it's making it a little bit difficult to undo, but it's not a problem. A little bit of Jessie grease on there, protect it. And that's pretty much it. All it needs now is when it's on the hawk, is trim it off. There is the Bewit. The strap with the cuts in it, after you've put it through and it's locked off, you see it's locked now, the barbs can't come back through. Then the access you can then cut off, you can trim it back, and you could, if you wanted to seal them 2 ends there, a little bit of super glue there and seal it up. That's up to you, but that's not coming off. I ran with that the last year and there was no trouble at all. But just remember this strap here on where you've got the 2 cuts, trim that off afterwards, because that helps to pass it through the holes. But that's what he's going to have for next season. Homemade Bewit and Bell. I've got the anklets next. I've got this piece of offcut here. Literally all you got to do is wrap that round your imitation leg. The eye needs to be completely covered, or have enough leather on the side. We can trim any access off afterwards, but you don't want to be wasting this stuff, especially this kangaroo hide. It seems to be a little difficult to get. I'm just going to mark that now. So I've got enough there for 2 pieces. Cut through. And then put my clamp on there, which is the eyelet. And mark the hole. Just cut that hole out. I'm going to go straight through the 2. Find the biggest hole punch I can find. And then I'm going to just work around that, cutting through both of them, and just nibbling away, take that leather out that we don't need. And once you've got it, once you've got the hole in there, just make sure it goes through, which it does. Check it for size, and that's it. But as I say, if you've got a new hawk, you might want to come up a little bit higher and taper down, so you give him more support, because a new hawk might bait, and then you've got more surface area protecting the hawk, and even line them out. So once you've done that, you make a duplicate one on the for the other side. So before we go any further, the smooth side always goes in innermost, and the rough side outermost. What I do now is lay that down, use the flat part of the eyelet, and I'm just going to take these corners off. You could use scissors, you could be as careful as you want with this, make them look nice, or just make them work. I mean, even if you didn't cut it off, it's not going to make any difference. Scissors will be good. Get nice edges on there. So a bit of Jess grease on there. I'll grease these up again before we use them, because we've got a few weeks left yet. So remember, smooth side innermost, and then pop that eyelet on there, and it's ready to be clamped in the clamping tool. I'm just going to put a few slits in here now to help the top fold over when it's on the hawk. The second one is just a copy of the first one, same idea. When you put these on your hawk, it's an easy mistake to make. On the left leg, you want the best side, because this is the clamp side. That part there folds over, so you want the best side outwards, and this will be on the right side. So this is the left leg, and when you put your Mews Jessie in, you'll have the button on the outside against all the smooth part. You have good side on each outside. That's how it should be on, and not like that. So the good side's in the middle, it must be on the outside.